Hi, Thomas Heimann here. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's broadcast, podcast, presentation. And what I want to talk about today is how to develop a six-figure mindset. And especially with agents in real estate, it seems everyone's goal is to make $10,000 a month or make $100,000 a year. And truth to be told, when I was first exposed to a lot of the tools and technologies I'm going to talk about in this short presentation, that was in the early 90s. And back then, $10,000 a month was the holy grail. And let me tell you, $10,000 a month in 1990 or 95 is not the same as $10,000 a month 20 years later. So really, it should be how to make $250,000 a year. And so I take it you're interested in making more money, or you would have not tuned in. And so I'm going to share with you my thoughts on what I have found to be true in what is required, really, regardless of the endeavor. It doesn't matter whether you're in real estate or in any other industry, how to really earn at that level, how to develop the mindset that is required to achieve that success. And the truth is, I don't care where you are right now. You could be flat broke living with your parents, or you could be struggling, or you could be super successful. There's always a way to take things to the next level. And I'm a firm believer that whether your goal is to make $50,000 a year or your goal is to make $1 million a year, both of them are equally realistic and equally achievable and equally attainable. Someone very wise once said, whether you say you can or you can't, you're right. So let me switch over to the PowerPoint presentation that I presented. It's only about 5 slides. And I would say this presentation will take maybe 15, 20 minutes, and I invite you to stick around. And as always, please feel free to drop me a line, drop me a note, send me an email, contact me on Twitter or what have you not, if you want to get more information and if you're really interested in mastering that. So here we go. All right, so how to develop a six-figure mindset, or how to make $100,000 plus in real estate. I have found that really there are 3 moving parts when it comes to creating any kind of success, whether it's financial success or otherwise. And most of the time, the most important aspect gets missed. So here are the 3 components, the Triad of Success. The first component is your strategies, your what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. And most people are really spending the vast majority, if not all, of their efforts and their focus and their money that they spend on that area. So you run from training program to training program. This program didn't work, so you're going to try something else. This magic bullet didn't work, so you try something else. And everyone is always looking for strategies. And obviously, having the right strategies are absolutely critical to success, because success really is like a recipe. And what I found very early on, and I learned this through my training with Tony Robbins, is that success leaves clues. And if you find someone that has achieved a certain kind of success, whether they were 400 pounds and they ended up losing 250 pounds and they're in the most amazing shape and now they're running triathlons, or whether somebody achieved incredible success and is doing 1,000 transactions a year in real estate, or whether somebody has the most amazing relationships in their life, the most passionate, amazing marriage. There are strategies to that. And so if you find out what that person did specifically and you do the same thing, you will reap a similar result. And that's where strategies come in. So they're incredibly important, but they're only part of the puzzle. And most people tend to think it's just all about strategies. The next piece of the Triad of Success is resources. And resources are, money, time, people, software, having the right tools, having the right IDX platform if you're in real estate, having the right follow-up system, having the right dialer to be able to make lots and lots of calls, the right CRM system to be able to follow up on with people properly and be able to do mass texts and so forth. So those tools and resources are equally critical. If you go and talk to someone that does 500 transactions a year and that is, making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year, and they'll tell you exactly what their strategies are, but you don't have the money to execute on the marketing, you don't have the time or the people to do what needs to be done, then you're not going to be able to reap that same kind of result, the same kind of success. So you need to put in place the necessary resources, and it's very difficult to go from 0 to 1,000. Right now, if you're struggling, you're doing 3 transactions a year, and you're making $15,000 a year, and you want to go to making $500,000 a year, you need to follow a path, and you need to do it in steps, because you're not going to go from 0 to 1,000 if you don't have the resources in place to make it happen. Myself, when I first got into real estate, for example, and this was 12, 13 years ago, I decided that I wanted to build a team that will do a large number of transactions. In my first year, I did 93 transactions. But I was very, very fortunate that I had significant resources that I could deploy. I had a lot of money to spend on marketing. Back then, real estate magazines were the thing to do. I didn't have any listings. So I asked around and asked other realtors if I could advertise their listings, and they gave me permissions. And I hit the ground running with 2, 3 full-page ads with 20 plus listings on every single ad. And I had the money to do that. I had the money to hire an assistant and put things in place. But if you're not fortunate to have those resources in place, you can't put on your credit card, if you can't make that investment, then you just have to go in steps. So resources is the second thing. And again, these 2 items, strategies and resources, that's really for 99% of all people that want to become successful, but that haven't been able to get there yet. That really is a package. And that's, again, where all the selling goes in. Some people joke, if you want to make money in real estate, for example, you need to sell to realtors, because they're always looking for a new way. They're looking for new strategies, the new magic bullet, the new class, the new course, the new coaching program, and they're looking for the new hot software, the new tool, the new magic thing that's going to do it for them. But most of them are missing out on the third part, and that's why success is so elusive. And that is the psychology. The psychology, the mindset, the beliefs, the attitude, the values, I think is much more important than anything else that is in place. If you have the right mindset and psychology, you will find the strategies. Even if you do it by brute force, through trial and error, where you just try everything and try it again and try something else and try something else until you figure it out. The same thing with resources. If you have 0 resources, but you have the right psychology and the right belief system, then you will find those resources. You will draw those resources to you. In communication, they say that literally 80+% of all communication is nonverbal. So it's not the words that you're saying, it's how you're saying them, how they're delivered. It's your body language as you're communicating with people. And likewise, all right, I apologize. We had a little technical issue there. My connection got disconnected. Anyhow, as I was saying, the most important thing is your mindset. So going back in the Triad of Success, your psychology, your mindset, your beliefs, your attitudes, and your values are by far the most important thing that you need to achieve success. So that's what I want to talk about. So let's look at the mindset of success, part 1, or probably the most important part, and that is your belief system. And Tony Robbins has a great saying. He says, people get their musts, not their shoulds. People should all over themselves. They want all these things. I want to make $100,000 a year. I want to make $250,000 a year. I want to do 100 transactions a year. And people just not doing it because, truth to be told, they're pretty comfortable where they are right now. And so if you don't have enough money, if you don't have enough business, at some level, it is because where you're at right now is your must, your threshold. And what you want to do is like a should. I should be doing this, I could be doing this, but it's not a must. And the biggest question of them all is, what is your why? I mean, how does something become a must? If you must do 100 transactions this year, if you must make $250,000 this year, because if you don't have the money to pay for your child's lung transplant and he or she's going to die because your insurance company is going to pay for that type of treatment. If your child is going to die, if you don't generate that income, then that all of a sudden becomes a powerful must. So you got to get very, very clear on what is your why. If you say, I want to make $100,000 a year, well, that's already bad verbiage right there. It should be, I must make $100,000 a year, or I must do 100 transactions this year. And then follow up with a powerful why. What is your why? Why is this goal, this outcome, a must? And believe it or not, this is really a huge thing that a lot of people struggle with. And you have to get clarity on that. If you don't, one or two things is going to happen if you really focus some time and attention on this. Either you're going to come up with a big enough why, a big enough vision for your life, how you really want to see yourself and your life and your level of contribution to your community, to your family, the legacy that you may want to leave. And that will drive you to do what needs to be done to get the job done. Or you may realize, what? I really, it's not a must to do that. I really don't need to do 100 transactions a year. I'm actually quite comfortable making 50, 60 grand a year and not having too much stress and being able to, work a few hours here and there. And, it's really not a must. And that's fine because there is no right or wrong. What's right for one person, what drives one person, is not right for someone else. And we got to be very careful that we don't get into this cultural hypnosis that says, you have to, quote unquote, achieve at a certain level or there's something wrong with you, But if you can come up with your why, then the how will fall in place. And that's true again for any industry. If your why is big enough, then the how will work itself out. If someone's life is at stake, you will find a way. If you're a parent and somebody said, if this doesn't happen, unless you do X, Y, Z, your child is going to die, or your partner, your spouse, your mate is going to die, then you're going to find a way. You're going to move heaven and earth to come up with the answer. So having the answer is not that important. It's really more important to have the why. The second thing is, what is your belief about what's possible and what you are worth? A lot of people are so focused on obstacles and on problems and on challenges and why something doesn't work that really in their mind they may only have, and as a matter of fact, they only do have a certain threshold about what's possible and what they're worth. I guarantee you, Donald Trump has a completely different belief system about what is possible for him and what he is worth, even though he's been to bankruptcy and back, than your average Joe Schmo local real estate developer that, maybe thinks it's an awesome score to build $1 million house and walk away with $250,000 profit. Two totally different worlds. And so you need to ask yourself, what is your belief about what's possible and what you personally are worth? And then the way to improve your belief or create new beliefs is to create new references. If truly you feel that, it's not possible for you to do more than X, or that you're really not worth more than X, you need to shake up that belief system, and you need to improve that and create a new belief system. And a belief is really just a sense of certainty. So a belief is a very strong sense of certainty, almost like a table where each leg is a reference that supports that belief or that sense of certainty. So in your life, you've gone through experiences, you've had experiences, maybe you started businesses that failed, maybe you tried a bunch of things that didn't work out, maybe in your family you see certain things, and that shapes your belief system about what's possible. Likewise, you may have had some incredible successes where you created things out of nothing, or you have people around you that have created amazing successes out of nothing, that have overcome adversity. And so that created some references. So the way to improve your belief system, believe it or not, is to create new references. And the way to do that is to seek out people that support that new belief. So if you want to make $100,000 in real estate, or if you want to accomplish X, find people that are doing it. And that will give you a sense of certainty that it's possible. You know what, if you have 10 people that all have gone from absolutely nothing to create, incredible financial success, if they can do it, you can do it, as opposed to if you're just surrounded by a bunch of people that aren't going anywhere, and they're just going to provide you with evidence that things don't work, you're going to have the opposite effect. The second thing when it comes to mindset of success is attitudes. What is your attitude towards life in general? Do you go through life with a happy, positive, optimistic attitude? Do you smile a lot? Or are you, one of those grumpy, frowny people, and you're always focused on all the disasters and all the things that are going wrong, and what terrible times we live in, and there's war everywhere, and every time you turn on CNN or Fox News, there's a bunch of disasters going on around the world, and nothing works, and buyers are liars, and that is a negative mind attitude. So you got to ask yourself, and really be honest to yourself. What is your attitude about things, about life in general, about business, about people, about buyers and sellers that you work with? Jordan Belfort has a great program. It's called the Straight Line System. And I'm not sure exactly how much it is right now, but it used to be about $2,000, $2,500. It's an awesome sales training program. I highly recommend it to anyone. And as he puts it, you need to be sharp and enthusiastic. When you pick up the phone and you talk to someone, you meet with someone, you have to be sharp and enthusiastic. And is that you? Are you projecting that? And even if necessary, fake it until you make it. When you pick up the phone and talk to someone, are you like, "Hi, this is Thomas Heimann, and I'm calling because you checked on our website and I'm interested, to find out if I can help you"? Or is it going to be, "Hi, this is Thomas Heimann with Realty Partners, and I'm calling because I noticed you went to our website, and I'm here to help you"? Totally different, A to B. So your attitude is going to have a tremendous impact on your success. You can have the belief, and you can have the biggest why, and I can give you all of the strategies and resources. I can give you a script, even what to say down to the letter, the word. And if you bring it across with a negative, down kind of attitude, then nothing's going to happen. And by the way, interestingly enough, people don't want to hang out with people that have negative kind of downer attitude. So you want to work on your attitude. How do you approach your day? Again, is it a great day? Is it a crappy day? Is it oh my God, I got all this stuff to do? Or oh my, I'm so excited. All these opportunities are before me. So everything I said so far is fine. It's like, well, you got to do this, you got to do that. But how can you really get yourself either out of the rut that you might be in, or how can you improve your attitude, your mindset, to take yourself to the next level? And no matter how successful you are right now, by the way, there's always another level. And these action steps apply no matter where you're at. And I'm applying them myself in my life. The first one is to read empowering books. And for a long time, I tried to read one book a week. I'm not there anymore. I'm reading about 2 books a month. Right now, this very second, I'm finishing up 2 books. One is Bold by Peter Diamandis, and another book is Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. He just came out with it. 2 outstanding books. I highly recommend it. Peter Diamandis, by the way, has an awesome book. It's a very short book, a quick read, called Abundance, that really turns the current paradigm of, everything is negative and bad news around us, turns it around and really opens your eyes to all the amazing things that are happening around us. I highly, highly recommend it. So, but reading empowering books, Think and Grow Rich. I've read it several times, plus I got it in my audiobook. I'm doing the Think and Grow Rich success formula every single day. I got my success formula that I have on my screen, and every day I read it in the morning, read it at night. So Thinking Rich is an awesome book, and if you're not rich yet, you should keep reading it. And if you're rich and want to get richer, keep reading it. It's the granddaddy of all personal development. Napoleon Hill wrote this book. He was hired by Carnegie to interview the most successful people of the time, all self-made people, and kind of extract what's the success formula. 1 Minute Millionaire is an awesome book. Again, very big on goal setting, and I'm following that principle still today with having your 5-6 key goals and writing them out daily on an index card and saying to yourself, I'm so happy and grateful now that I achieved X. And you do that over and over again, you internalize. Awaken the Giant Within, second book of Tony Robbins. Highly, highly recommend it. So reading empowering books is incredibly important. And if you don't like to read, then get to like to read. There are very, very few successful people. I don't think anyone that is a self-made successful person that does not read a lot of books, or at least listens to audiobooks. You want to invest in yourself. You want to attend seminars. You want to be committed to always grow and learn. Myself personally, without exaggeration, I know I've invested over $100,000 in personal development over the years. And many times I go back to seminars, even though I have been to them before, because you always pick up on something new. But most importantly to me, for a lot of these events, is the immersion factor. For example, when I built my team, when I first got started in real estate, I joined the Craig Proctor program and the Craig Proctor coaching program, and I went to every single Craig Proctor conference that he held for probably about 4 years, I would say. And the reason was that I got to immerse myself in this environment, and I had a lot of proof and build up my belief. There were these guys that were doing 500, 1,000, 1,200, 1,400 transactions a year. And I was able to just immerse myself into that environment, and that is really what will nurture your psychology. So you want to invest in yourself. I mean, I always find it amazing that people can spend $1,000 on a phone or buy all sorts of crap, but they won't invest $500 or $1,000 into themselves in a conference. If you've never been exposed to Tony Robbins, and I don't work for the guy, I don't have any vested interest whatsoever, but I know he has a UPW, his Unlimited Power Within weekend, which I think he only does 2 of them a year now, but he has one coming up in Chicago. You may want to look into that sort of thing. So invest in yourself, attend seminars, attend conferences. And I'm talking about seminars that are focused on growth, on improving your psychology. And last but not least, listen to audiobooks. Get a Success Magazine subscription. Success Magazine now has a audiobook program, a DVD or CD, in every single monthly issue of Success Magazine, where they're having interviews with key people, and where they have some teachings, and it's a great way to get new content and just listen to it in your car. Join Audible. Audible is a great resource to get audiobooks. You can also get them on Amazon, of course. It's very, very inexpensive nowadays. If you have Amazon, you can also get audiobooks from your local library. And some of the greats obviously are, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Earl Nightingale. The first person I was ever introduced to myself, and this was back in, I would say 1990, was Earl Nightingale and Brian Tracy. And I started to really get hooked on personal development audio programs. And at that time, I couldn't afford to go to any seminars. I was literally starting out at ground zero. But I started to reprogram my mind. And again, working on your psychology is the most important thing that you can do. And then last but not least, you have to have a list of written goals. They have done many, many, many studies where they take people, they did one very famous one where they took a class, I believe it was in Harvard, and they determined how many of these people that graduated had actually written goals, and it was about 3% of them. And then they went back 30 years later, and that 3% was not only happier and more fulfilled than the other 97%, but also that 3% was worth more collectively than the other 97% put together. So every successful person has written goals, and you want to reevaluate them obviously periodically, because your top goals today will not be the same ones 5 years from now, even though you should have very, very, very far out there inspiring goals, 5-year goals, 10-year goals, 25-year goals, lifetime goals. But you know what? 10 years from now, you're not going to be the same person. So what you thought was the most important thing today, maybe you want to have, your own Learjet and do all these crazy things 10, 15 years from now. 5 years from now, you may decide, what, that is not so important for me. I would much rather be able to travel a lot or race horses or have a farm or whatever it might be. But you want to create a list of written goals. I do actually an annual goal setting workshop, and I have that document. And if you email me to thomas@realty-partners.com or send me a message on Twitter at Thomas Heimann, I'll be happy to forward it to you. And so do at least once a year a comprehensive goal setting workshop and set some goals, but don't wait until next year. Do it right now. Make a list of all the things you've always wanted to have and always wanted to do, and then from there distill it down. Come up with some 3 months, 6 months, 12 months goal, 5-year goals, 10-year goals, and then pick out the 5 most important of them and read and rewrite them daily. You're going to get a lot more ideas on the power of goal setting, different mechanics, especially if you read Think and Grow Rich and if you read The 1 Minute Millionaire. And there are many, many other books out there. Virtually all of the success classics drive home the point that you need to have a list of written goals, and you have to read them aloud daily. And to be most effective, you want to read them and rewrite them by hand daily, which is why I love that strategy in The 1 Minute Millionaire, where you take your top 5 goals and you write them out every day in the affirmative as if it's already accomplished. So you're not saying, I want to make $100,000 a year. You say, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm making $100,000 a year. A huge difference, because your subconscious mind really cannot differentiate between what is imagined and what is real. So you want to make it as real as possible. Okay. As always, these sessions take longer than I think initially. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you got a couple of points out of this. If you're committed to earning a 6-figure real estate income, or in any other endeavor for that matter, your psychology, how you think about things, how you process things, your belief about things, the why something is a must as opposed to a should, is the most important thing for you to work on. Much, much more important than the mechanics, the strategies, or the resources. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I look forward to our next session together. Bye-bye.